Perfect. So we covered 7 Kimuras. Just your dorsal position, bro. On your side. Just go to back that side. Perfect. Right side. Nice. Yes. So we looked at 7 Kimuras in total. 6 of them can be done from dorsal position. So the skill in the Kimura system is when you're struggling to finish one, switching to the other one. So the 6 can be done from the figure 4. And it's this ability, we've covered them all, this ability just being able to transition from one to the other seamlessly. And then the 7th, which is the legs Kimura, the reverse omoplata sort of on its own. We did that a few classes back. So basically, you know, if I get into the dorsal position and maybe Declan doesn't go hand to hand, we have our basic figure 4 finish from this position where I have a push hand and a pull hand. Okay. Maybe from this position Declan's going hand to hand. Then we talked about the bicep Kimura was I went deeper. So from there I find my own shoulder, find Declan's shoulder, and now from this position I can finish it with a lot more pressure just by finding both my shoulders and putting a lot more tension into it. So again, maybe I was looking to do this, he goes hand to hand from that position. We covered all this in separate videos. So instead of having a push-pull, I would be coming deeper with my arm. I'm putting my bicep around and finding my shoulder. As I drop to the mat, I lift my armpit and I find Declan's armpit or shoulder. And now from there I can put a lot of weight on that grip and start to put the Kimura on from there. So that was the bicep Kimura. We also talked about from this position, when I locked the figure 4, I could, when we introduced our legs into the Kimura lock, we had a lot more leverage. So from there we talked about how I could basically swing my leg over and sit back and get into the legs, the cross Kimura one, where I can now use my leg to finish it. I'll just get another angle on that, just go from, yeah, perfect. So maybe, you know, I was looking to go for the Kimura, Declan went hand to hand, maybe I couldn't, you know, he was just so strong from here, when I went bicep deep and I just couldn't get the bite or break that grip. We talked about from there how I could swing my leg over, put my hand on the mat, come back down, more than likely Declan's going to turn, recross, and now from there I can leg press and I have it from there. The other thing is, when I'm going for so that was the 3rd one, which was your cross Kimura. 4th one is maybe Declan postures from this position. He comes up, I'll bring my leg over, and now we're into the trimere. I've got a head and arm inside. So now we know we want to invert that knee, recross, and I have it from there. Let's get another angle on that one, bro. Just go back to here. Nice, perfect. So we're in dorsal position. Declan goes hand to hand. Switch to bicep deep. 2nd variation or 2nd Kimura. Can't get that. Okay, we can look about now swinging our leg over, posting my hand on the mat. Our 3rd variation of the Kimura was the cross Kimura. But maybe from here Declan counters by starting to posture. I'll just bring my leg over the head and recross. We talked about inverting that knee, and now from this position, getting on the power line, we have the trimere, which would be our 4th variation of the Kimura. Then we looked at the tricoplata, which was the 5th one. So maybe he goes hand to hand. Danaher's detail on getting the leg over, which isn't easy if you're an older person. So his detail on that was punching deep with my right hand as my left finds my tricep. Notice the way that's pulling the grip towards me, clearing a lot more space for me to lean to actually bring my leg over, and then from that position I find my own thigh and we're into the Tarico Plata. Let's just get another angle on that one, bro. If we just turn this way, nice. So our fifth one was from here. I'm looking to punch deep to the tricep, and my hand that had the wrist comes across, and I'm nearly putting it in the middle of his back. Notice the way that pulled his arms higher, so that when I lean, I have a lot more space to get my leg over. Then I found my thigh, then I put my hand on the mat, and again from there, I'm cleaning my butt on Declan to finish. So that was our fifth variation of the Kimura. Maybe from our position, let's just say our sixth one was when I got Declan down here, say I was in side control, and I'm trying to step over his head to make the power with my legs. We talked about how I want to be the trinity of power, whereby I need to beat Declan's shoulder line. Let me just turn this way, bro. So we talked about when we were in week one of this, when I got his arm to the mat and we were here, how I would need to beat this arm, right? And we showed you different ways. I can turn my shin in so his arm is trapped, and then I can step over his head and I can finish. But you get people, savvy people, and sometimes what they do is they'll just hug your whole lat here. If he just wraps his arm around me there, there's just no way. This is why I can't turn my shin in to beat this, like we talked about early 30 weeks ago, that was maybe. So from here, we can switch to a one-handed Kimura. So rather than trying to get past this arm, I can still put the Kimura on while being on Declan's right side. So again, we talked about how I can push his elbow to the power line and make that grip with a one hand. Again, I don't want to be on the wrist. I'm somewhere between the wrist and his little finger. Right hand comes to the far side. I put my head beside his hip. Again, your arm's still wrapped, bro, around my back here. Yeah. I'm going to try pull it up, and from that position, I'll bring my head this way, and I have it. Notice the way I was still on his right side. I didn't beat that arm. So again, from that position, maybe we were I broke that grip. We looked at different ways for me to break that grip with my shin. I dropped down. I'm here, but now Declan covers my back here. So rather than trying to get into a whole battle of trying to get rid of this arm, just turn this way, bro. Or sorry, this way, perfect. We looked at pushing his elbow to the power or in line with the shoulders, making that grip between his little finger and his wrist, and then this hand comes to the far side and I bring my head towards his hip. Notice the way I haven't beat his arm. I'm just tripoding up and I walk his arm towards his ear as I lift and raise my elbow. So that was the sixth Kimura. Again, notice the way we did these all from dorsal position. So they all were from, just turn around sideways, bro. They were all from here. And they all were from different problems when he went hand to hand. We could use a lot more leverage with the bicep version of it. We can introduce our legs for the cross Kimura. We can use our legs for the trimere, and we can use our legs for the Tarico Plata. And then from here, if we can't get past his arms, we have the one-armed one. The seventh Kimura, we did it from turtle position. It's kind of outside the other six. Just a quick recap on that. So again, from our position, we're here. We were in the side right position. I started to attack his neck. I got inside knee position, and then I tied up his arm as if I was going for a crucifix. We looked about how I would grab the wrist, and I would be looking to try and attack this arm with a straight arm lock. Declan defends by bending it, and then he had we called it a reverse omoplata, but it's actually a legs Kimura from this position. So then we talked about how my foot would come up, I would reach through and grab his own wrist, and then I rolled over my shoulder, and I can put it on from this position. But Declan can roll, and when he does, the detail was I was coming up, and again, if I grab that, that stopped him from coming up. Arm comes across, and then to put it on, you have it from there. One more time on that one, bro. Again, there's separate bits on this, just a quick recap on the 7 different Kimuras that we've been playing around with this last 30 odd weeks. So again, from side right, I'd be starting to dig in this, bringing my knee in, starting to work the crucifix position, pin the wrist. From there, I can start to attack that straight arm lock. Declan defense. Notice the way he's already bent his arm from there. We did 2 variations of this, but I'm just reaching through and grabbing his wrist, coming up, rolling. I have it there, but Declan will probably roll as well, and I caught that leg to stop him from coming up. The elbow comes to the other side, and then from here, we're just coming up. So, 7 Kimuras, 6 are in a close family of their own from that dorsal position. 7's on its own, but still worthwhile to have in your game.